Yo, I just realized something so crazy. I don't even know if you can pick up the sound on this, but I realized something so crazy. I've been in university for 4 years, like this is my 4th year. And right now in this, or in the previous moment, like just now, I realized that in all the time I've been here, not once did I realize the connections I'd made and the friendships I'd made and the people I met. Everything was temporary. The way I treated everything was as if it was temporary and oh yeah, I'm just gonna see you now, like small little social bonds during the time of school to just a few people to see and say hi to, just to keep myself relatively sane. But I was never really here. I was never really here at all. I was constantly in a constant state of fear in my mind, and that fear manifesting in the form of me rushing through everything, through every experience, and I was just going way too fast. And nowhere at the same time, and I was bound to crash at some point, and I did. But this is the first time that I realized that wait, I am in a beautiful province, effed up as the economy of it is getting and how it's treating its POC citizens with all the gentrification and stuff. But this is everything I ever could, this is all I've ever wanted. When I think back to when I was 12 and stuff, I was no man, this is what I want. All I could picture every time someone asked me, where do you want to be in your 20s? I was Cape Town. All I could picture was an ocean. That's the only image that kept popping up in my mind when I thought about life after 18 and moving away from where I grew up. All I could picture was the ocean in my mind, and I was I am going there. I am going there, babes. I'm going there. I don't know how I'm going to get there. I didn't even ask myself, how am I going to... I just said, I'm going there. No questions, no buts, ifs, ands, or whatever. And now, yes, I'm not in Cape Town per se, but I am so freaking close to the ocean. It's even better than being there, because the ocean is close, but I am surrounded by so much nature. I have so much access to nature just right outside my door, and I can just go outside and be outside and watch the birds and be with the trees and feel the wind and feel the changing seasons, and I feel I'm so a part of Earth, and that is something I never got to experience growing up, because I was either indoors at home or at school. The only time I ever got to spend much time outside was during hockey practices and tournaments and stuff. And obviously that decreased as I got older. I'm just watching the birds, by the way. But the moment was so profound, I can't even replicate it. But I really realized that, oh my gosh, wait, I'm in the Western Cape. I have connections I've made. I can focus on strengthening those connections, because those are people that really matter to me and that I really resonate with, and that, again, it's I even called into my life, because I know it would have been the trick. I was I'm going to have amazing friends who totally get me, and we're on the same wavelength, and we're similar vibes. Everything that I have now, all it requires is my attention to nurture it and care for it. And there was attention I never gave it before, because I was constantly stressing about being here, but for different reasons. Being here for the sake of, for the next thing. And then it's not about changing locations, it's just about changing perspective. Like, I always thought this transition that I was going through meant that I would have to, because I've been purging so much emotionally and leaving so much behind me, relationally in that sense as well. And I thought the next thing was for me to let go of engineering and whatnot. And for the last like 5 weeks of school, I've just been descending into this conundrum of like observing the world around me to such an extent that I see past the illusion of like this world and how the deception in it all. Like, we're having open day for these prospective students, and there's music and it's fun and everyone's so excited and like, yay, engineering faculty student open day, whatever. But when I think about the fact that this is the one and only time I've ever seen this faculty this social on such a massive scale, when these kids come here, they're not even going to get the shock of their lives because they're going to be too stressed out trying to keep up to even realize. But it's like there is no, like, yeah, sure, there are efforts from like the engineering council to have social days and whatnot, but even their engineering students, they can't organize that much stuff, girl, and they understand. But when I think about how little we get to like play and like be outside and socialize and wind down, there aren't enough spaces in this faculty to just sit, like this grass area. There aren't enough spaces in this faculty to just sit outside and just like calm your mind, like come back to earth. Because like you're up here like 24/7 thinking about all those equations and theories and whatever the fucks that you don't understand, and you just don't get a moment to come back down to earth. And you think you're doing that by like smoking a shit ton of weed. Well, you know what? No. But I mean, with alcohol, I think you're doing that by like chugging a whole bunch of alcohol, but like you're waking up drowsy every day and you hate the feeling. But it's just to like give yourself the illusion of coping in this effed up institution that is an agent of capitalism. Like, they're gonna get the shock of their lives, these kids, when they realize that this is not what engineering is about. Like, it feels fun and vibey and like a part of the whole open day experience at university, where everything's just open and it's fun and it's hopeful and it's cheerful and there's so much potential and just anticipation for greatness in the future and ease and like independence and developing identity. And the main campus gets to maintain that for a little while, like maybe for term 1. The engineering faculty has no such thing at all. The minute those kids come here, they hit the ground running. And like those who try and you get punished severely if you make even the littlest inch of time for socializing, unless you're those kids who are well connected and have good resources being other kids with connections to nodes and things like that, of course. Or if you're good with working with other people, that's how a lot of people get through it as well. But I just went through a whole spiral of ideas, but like I was just part of that crowd that just got so lost in the hustle of it, and like, let me keep up, and constantly approaching this degree from a perspective of doom being that if I don't get this degree, or if I don't get certain marks at the end of the year, that my life is over and I'm going to have to move back home and I'm going to be stuck and I'm going to turn into all the energies that I experienced and just be like a self-loathing hypocrite, stuck. And there was the constant fear in my mind. Like, I was approaching from the fear of what was waiting back at what I used to call home for me, and fearing that I could have to go back to that as well. But now I just realized, like, wait, no, my reason for working hard or for working at this degree and trying to attain it is no longer from that space anymore, because I don't resonate with that energy of fear anymore. I'm so detached from it. It's galaxies away from me at this point. All I have now is a clean slate, completely clean, and it's been so overwhelming to clean it And now to sit with the feeling of a clean plate and not knowing what to do with it, because all I've known is fear. But I know that fear can't create. Fear isn't allowed on this clean plate anymore. But now I'm like, who am I without fear? And that is the journey, is filling the plate with this new identity that doesn't carry fear anymore. And I'm at the threshold of entering that stage, and I feel it, and it's been ups and downs, it's been highs and not so low lows, but a low, and nourishing the low and nurturing the low and understanding that it's necessary to bring me to that heightened state again. So negative emotions are welcome, they just can't stay too long. That's where the affirmations come in, to bring you back to a positive emotional state. And that's what I've been working towards, and that's what I've reached. And I don't know, like, I have so much power within my hands and in my mind if I create for myself. And I approach this degree from the perspective of, but no, the reason for me to work hard at this degree is not to avoid going back to dysfunction, but rather to give me access to the connections and networks and relationships I've built in this province, and to give me a sort of like a grounding point, but not necessarily that I'm stuck there. I'm still mobile, I'm still able to venture into other interests and other things, but like, this is like my home base, if I can call it that. But I can do so much with my creativity and whatever that entails, that I can build relationships as far as Plettenberg Bay, and have easy access to Plettenberg Bay, because I'm right here in Western Cape, where in Stellenbosch, rooted in my educational pursuit, but I'm not limited to that. And I'm mainly here for, again, the relationships and the connections. So that's what's worth fighting for. That's what's worth working hard at my degree for. It's to stay here and put in conscious and intentional and heart space centered effort into the relationships and people I've met, because I love all of those people so dearly in all of their ways. Like, everyone that I've met here is just so nice. Like, I think about the connections that just the people running through my mind right now. I'm like, these are the best people in the world. And if I look at this from a different perspective, I can actually turn them into like my chosen family. And because they're understanding already, and they have all the characteristics of people that I would value and want to be in my close circle, so I can really trust them with that kind of vulnerability. And I know that they'll pour back into me because they give the same way that I give, and then helping them learn to receive the way that I'm learning to receive right now. And it feels like mine. Like, I feel like I've been already, but I'm really now in the physical world sense, going to start living for myself. I think I've already been living for myself emotionally. I've been working on that for the last like 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. And now I get to finally bring that into reality and live for myself in my physical world, and trust that it will work out in the physical world, because it is birthed by my emotional space, which is already cleared. And it's just been a long time coming of my environment matching my emotional space. And I'm just so grateful for everything, everyone, good or bad, in my perspective. Everyone, everything, everywhere, at every point. Because if it weren't for each and every single person, I would not be right here in this moment feeling infinite gratitude and power and shamelessness after 21 years of living with shame, a lot of which wasn't even mine. I get to write this story. Like, this is my beginning and this is my narrative, and like it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming, the good potential that I'm feeling that can really come in, and that is coming in, because I know it's coming in. But just like, when you're healing and you're working on things and you're in such a deep emotional space, you think that that's gonna last forever, because your environment reflects that. Everything is dreary in the beginning, and heavy, and like pouring rain in Stellenbosch, where it's just clouds and rain and wind, and it's just a mess. And you think that that's what it's gonna be like in your emotional space and in your physical world forever. But it's really like a cycle and a spiral, and like the gloom can't last forever. The sun must come out eventually, and it will come out, and it is coming out, and that's a cycle too. But right now, the sun cycle and the moon cycle was necessary to clean my emotional space. But I don't know, like, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for myself. I'm grateful for my younger self. Yeah, that we'd be here for 10 hours if I started that, because she got me through a lot of stuff. And shame is such a heavy projection. Shame, because you can easily catch it. You can catch it instantaneously, but you have to be so present in every moment to remind yourself that I have nothing to be ashamed about, and just reminding yourself that you also matter, and your experience matters, and your perspective and your point of view of the world matters. So why are you jumping into someone else's point of view of you? You can't have both. You can't exist in both. You can't both care about someone else's perspective of you and then care about your own perspective of yourself at the same time. That's like living in... You can't be in two places at once. You have to choose one. And from that comes every version of peace you can think of. Just stay in your point of view. And that will resonate if you know what I mean by that. I'm not saying be selfish and be a narcissist. If you're a narcissist and you're selfish, this does not apply to you, obviously. This is for who it's meant for. But, like,